What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gab Lim. What's up?
Let's
What's up, Gab?
go!
Okay.
Al-
Exciting games. Great games to
Exciting
start
games.
the second round of the UAAP Season 87. We're going to talk about all of those games, and you saw it in the title of this post. The way we're going to do it is we're going to talk about one key takeaway from each of the games that we saw during the opening round. The opening games of the second round. Let's get started with the Saturday games.
Wait lang, Sammy. Before we start, I do
Ay,
want to
may
give a shout
pa-shoutout
out
ka ba?
of
Oo, may
course,
pa-shoutout si Sultan of
to my
Sando.
wife's friend. His name is Dominic Ramirez. Said good luck to us during the Ateneo game and thank you, Lord. Nanalo na rin sa wakas ang Ateneo, getting their second win of the season. And I do want to greet Mr. Sam Santos, a belated happy birthday. Birthday ni
Salamat,
Sam
sir.
kahapon, guys. Yung birthday ni
Kahapon.
Sam kahapon.
Maganda yung birthday gift. Nanalo yung Ateneo at yung UP. No? Magandang birthday gift ata yun. Uh, okay, let's get started. One key takeaway. Let's start with the Saturday game. Ito sa banger between FEU and Adamson experiencing an overtime game. So, may nag-comment agad before you talk about this game. May nag-comment agad right after this game. So much for scheduling the games earlier kasi the second game between LaSalle and UE started late. Syempre nag-overtime pa, 'di ba? So that can you imagine, 'di ba, kung hindi sila nag-adjust? But I think that was worth the wait. I was gonna say that's worth the wait. Kahit malate, that was a banger of a game. Gab, you were there live. How was the game and ano yung one key takeaway mo dun sa banger of a game na yun between Adamson and FEU?
Kailangan ata mag-overtime para manalo ang FEU.
Overtime Kings!
No, but so for real, it's actually connected to that. I actually FEU makes big plays during clutch time. That's my big takeaway of this game. Their two games have been in overtime, and in both of those games, they have repeatedly made big shots. And for the first game against Ateneo, it was mostly Jorek Bautista doing a lot of the shot making in overtime. In this game against Adamson, it came from different places. It wasn't just Jorek. It wasn't.
But a lot of it was still Joric. Nung clutch time, no?
He did make the game-tying three, although I do want to shout out si Mo Konate because
yes.
Adamson, FEU would not have even been close to winning this game if Mo Konate had not played the way he did.
Mm-hmm.
How many rebounds did he have?
26
rebounds. Against a very decent FSA in OJ Ojarikre.
And Cedric Manzano, who's a strong rebounder.
I was gonna say, a local big man, a Filipino big man, it's Cedric Manzano, who is strong, who is known as a beast underneath, and he still grabbed 26 rebounds. That Jorek Bautista 3 to tie the game at 58 was off a tip out.
Yes.
From Mo Konate, a la Vladi Divac. Diba? Yung tapping it out to Robert Horry.
Yeah.
4 or 3 years, they were on different teams, but it was the same tip out here.
That's what I remember then.
Yung by Mo Konate. But in overtime, I love that FEU kept on getting defensive stops. And on the other end, they had great contributions from different players. Royce Alforque made a crazy layup. VJ Pre, you made a close stab at the rim. Jorek himself scored. And not to mention, si Mo Konate was in the fourth quarter, had a ton of putbacks to keep FEU in this game. I actually thought na FEU had already won this game when it was 50-42. When it's, I think that was in the middle of the fourth quarter. I thought they had won this game. And then Adamson suddenly comes back. I think it was a 14-2 or a 14-3 run to take a
Mhm.
big lead. And I
I
thought
thought I thought
Adamson,
Adamson had it at that
I
time,
thought
at that
I
point.
thought Adamson had won this game, and yet FEU kept on making the big plays over and over again in clutch time. In the fourth quarter, FEU kept on making big plays. And if you're an FEU fan and you see them making plays like this, I think you like what you're seeing, especially from a young team like this who's learning how to win. Diba? Essentially, in the first round, a lot of their losses came. Essentially, they beat themselves in a lot of their games. Diba? They turn the ball over, they miss a ton of shots. Now they're finally hitting the shots. I think Jedrick Daa connected on his first three-pointer of the season. So they're finally hitting their shots. Cholo Anunuevo is back,
He's back.
which
Yeah.
is a very small storyline of this game. But I love that they're making the big plays and they're learning how to win, especially in these tight games. If they can just take that fourth quarter and put it into all other quarters that they play, they could probably pull out more wins. Heck, they're not even out of the final four, so maybe they can, string some wins together. Who knows? But if you're an FU fan, you love seeing this from your young team. They're learning how to win. They're making big plays on both ends of the floor. I love it for FU. Sammy.
Yeah. For me, well, I do wanna jump on the Cholo Año Nuevo point kasi I think that's also a crucial part of this. What will be the rotation of FEU moving forward? Because I think they're starting to solidify yung rotation nila eh. And I think you pointed it out actually in the previous episode. Rojan Montemayor getting a lot of minutes now, and I'm liking the minutes with Montemayor. He really can contribute a lot on both sides of the floor. Medyo ano lang siya, medyo may mga mistakes pa siya dito, but I think he hit two crucial threes in the game nung Saturday. Cholo Año Nuevo, I don't think he was that good nung Saturday, but he's definitely probably a solid player that can come off the bench, especially if he comes off the bench. He can eat up minutes there. Uh,
He's
I
their
think
best
for
three-point shooter. I think yung by percentage, he is.
really okay, yeah. I think what's interesting here is like how will Coach Sean Chambers sort of adjust yung lineups niya or yung rotation niya now that they're healthy, now that we're seeing Montemayor get some reps in. I think FEU can challenge other teams, pero tingnan muna natin kasi nabudol na tayo ng FEU before. Ayoko na mabudol ulit. For Adamson naman, I just wanna like talk about Adamson a little bit. Yung sa akin, one key takeaway is somebody has to take over this game other than si Cedric Manzano. And it's really Montebon or si Erolon for me. And nakita nyo, Montebon was almost what sent this game to a second overtime. They had no choice. Si Cedric Manzano already fouled out. Joshua Yero, the hero of the guy who shot the game-winning tip-in, also fouled out. But Montebon just kept hitting those crazy three-point shots in the last few seconds of the game. So he kept giving the team a chance. Obviously, it was too late for them. But I I think Coach Nash needs to give Montebon or Erolon more touches, let them take over because I think they can do it eh. I think they can. I think you've mentioned this before, Gab, also. But yeah, medyo disappointing for Adamson because now they've lost to two teams that they should be beating. They lost to Ateneo in the first round. They lost to FEU in the second round. That makes their battle for the fourth slot even more difficult now. Masakit yung natatalo ka sa team that's lower ranked than you eh. Gab.
Yeah, for it helps the UP beat UST a while ago. So that
Mhm.
kind of lightens
Pero
the
ano
loss
eh,
a little bit.
scheduled loss ba yun?
Yung
Scheduled loss
nga
yata.
yung parang scheduled loss yun for USC that you're facing one of the top teams in UP. So yeah, ako sa Adamson, sayang eh, cause they really had this game. They had this game. When it was 58-55, when it was 56-55, Coach Sean Chambers with 32 seconds left made a boo-boo and told his team to foul
Foul.
with a 1 point deficit. And he essentially said, "Oh, that's my bad. That's my bad." And he was lucky that Mo Konate tipped it out and Joric Bautista hit that three. Because my goodness, they could have been that could have been the worst boo-boo of the season for Sean Chambers. And he's had a few. So
Pero kung hindi yun
uh
na-shoot ni Joric, ano no, Alforque will get a lot of the blame. He missed 2 free throws. Di ba si Alforque yun eh? Tama ba?
yeah. Si Alforque, di ba was it Alforque who missed two? Si Sean Chambers nag-foul. So Adamson nag-take ng two.
Hindi. Yung tip ni Konate, ano yun eh, di ba? Free throws ni...
Free throw.
Oh,
Yeah.
free throws ng FEU. Si Alforque ata yun eh.
Yeah, I think it was Royce.
Yeah. Pinaganda lang ni Alforque. Pinaganda lang niya. Okay, sige, moving on. Let's talk about that DLSU versus UE game, which was close for the most part. I would say very exciting then. DLSU running away, LaSalle running away with the W at the end. Despite winning their game previously against UP, which was a big win for them, I would call this sort of like a bounce back revenge game for LaSalle after they lost against UE in the first round. What's the one key takeaway from that game for you, Cap?
I am buying into the LaSalle UE rivalry. I am buying into this
May
rivalry.
history din to, 'di ba? Kasi
My
LaSalle beat
history.
UE nung 14-0 sila, 'di ba? Yung
Oo.
14-0 team.
Back in 2007? Yeah, that was 2007 when UE swept the elimination round, faced LaSalle in the finals, and LaSalle sweeping UE. Essentially, uh, preventing UE from getting that championship. I think that was UE's best shot. That and 2009 against Ateneo were their best shots at the championship. Since what? Since the 70s ata or the 80s when they last won the championship. So uh yeah, I'm really buying into this rivalry. You have the coaching staff of UE being majority from LaSalle. You have Franz Pumaren at the back of the bench. His very legendary coach for the De La Salle Green Archers, and he's now one of the brain trusts of the UE Red Warriors. You gotta love it. You gotta love the atmosphere. I was at this game. Both crowds were into it. LaSalle was into it. The UE crowd came and it was a sea of green and red. Parang Pasko. And we were treated to one hell of a game. And you gotta love the Mike Phillips Precious Moment Way matchup. Diba? You gotta love it. Trading dunks, trading facial dunks, in-your-face dunks against each other is one hell of a way to cap off this game. There was also some bad blood. There was a lot of complaining going around. I love it. I I am here. I am right here for it. And if you told me that KQ was scoreless in the first half and LaSalle would only be down, I think, by one, slap me in the face, I would
Yep.
not believe you.
One.
Diba?
Yeah.
I would not believe you if you had told me that. Uh, this uh, this game was all about Mike Phillips
Yeah.
for LaSalle
I agree.
because he definitely carried this LaSalle team in the first half. I think he had 20 and 12 in the first half, finished with 27 points, 17 rebounds. How many assists they have? 5 assists and 2 blocks. And the steal, that is probably the line of the season. Uh, and there have been a lot, but that is probably the line of the season. Just taking into account who he was matched up against, the stakes of the game, and the fact that LaSalle was in this, UE was leading for a long period in this game. They had this game until the fourth quarter when LaSalle pulled away, and that was all. That was when KQ actually started to score. Mike Phillips kept them in this game for 3 quarters. I love just the energy he had. I know a lot of UE fans were very frustrated at the calls LaSalle was getting, especially on Mike Phillips. But you cannot blame the LaSalle the UE forwards, Devin Fikes, 30 Malaga, Ethan Galang, even si Precious, because they had no answer for Mike Phillips. And I know it's tough to accept, but that's the energy of Mike. That is motor Mike. When he is just running after every rebound, skying for every rebound, sometimes you can't have a choice but to foul. Those are really fouls, eh. I don't wanna say na there were calls solely for LaSalle. There were also calls solely for UE. So I don't want to say it was one-sided. But yeah, the energy of Mike Phillips just took UE's power forwards out of the game. And if you like a battle of the bigs, this was it. Precious Momoway versus Mike Phillips. Ibang klase. I loved every moment of it. They traded dunks, as I said, and then big shots were being hit by the LaSalle guards and forwards, guards and wings. And this is what I said. When LaSalle is at their best, it's not just KQ. And the fact that KQ only had 10 points, 2 assists, and 4 turnovers in this game, and LaSalle still won against a very capable UE team. LaSalle is rolling right now. I don't think there's any team in this UAAP in season 87 that could actually stop the De La Salle Green Archers right now. Not if guys like si Marasigan, si Makalala, Goliena, DJ Davin, not if they're all contributing. I don't see anyone right now beating this La Salle team. Sammy.
I was gonna say for LaSalle, I think it's a huge statement game also. Not just because they beat the team that tormented them last in the previous round, but because of how they won this game. And tama ka eh, yung sinabi mo. They won this with KQ not being at his best. Kasi yun yung concern natin for this LaSalle team eh. It relies heavily on KQ. But in this game, a lot of guys contributed, led by Mike Phillips in that. Actually, for me, yung 17 rebounds, hindi ako gulat gabi. Pero yung 27 points, yun yung medyo shocking for me coming from Mike Phillips. He might be the best big man of the UAAP this season, si Motor Mike. He was everywhere. He carried this team in the first half.
He might even catch KQ for MVP. If
That's
he keeps
true.
putting up
That's
these
true.
numbers.
Actually, we need to check the updates on that. But with stat line like this, he might catch up with KQ for MVP. For UE, I think simple lang. 3 of 16 from the 3-point line. 18%.
Well, Lingo was absent.
Welo Lingo scored only 2 points, shot 0 of 5 from 3. After that game-winning shot, I think that really spells the difference for UE. And alam natin, UE is a team that likes to shoot a ton of threes. And they rely heavily on making those threes. And if you shoot 3 out of 16, if you make 3 3-pointers in the entire game, it's not going to be an easy win for you, or it's going to be difficult for you to win. Welo Lingo yung biggest missing link probably dun sa game na yon. Just absent.
Yeah, I do want to jump on that point, Sammy. Yes, we did see an absent Welo Lingo in this game. But I do want to shout out some other guys who I think performed really well. Gerard Wilson, I think, got a ton of buckets in the first. Not a ton. I think he had 4. Yeah, 4 drives to the basket, just being aggressive, just uh, working off those cuts and attacking the LaSalle perimeter defense. I thought he was pretty effective in the first half. Ethan Galang, as you said, just hitting those threes, stretching the floor. I forgot who were the others who contributed. See, Jack Cruz Dumont actually hit some shots. So it
Mhm.
was this was the UE team we envisioned when they entered the season, diba? With Precious Momoway being the point of attack, just pounding the ball inside, and then the others chipping in here and there. That was not the case in the first round, especially in their wins. We saw Precious was not really a factor. He wasn't getting a ton of points. Actually, a ton of their wins were with Precious scoring in single digits. So it wasn't just Precious Momoway taking over the offense. It was the other guys. And if you're UEI, you have to be concerned. No, yes, it's nice that Precious actually had a dominant game against Alasal front line with Raven Gonzalez, Mike Phillips, Henry Agonane, who, my goodness, played. I don't think LaSalle fans were pretty happy with how Henry played, but yeah, you like seeing this dominant game, but also I don't think you like seeing that the rest of the supporting cast did not really get going, because that was the formula for success for them in the first round. It was the other guys contributing. It was the other guys shooting well. It was the other guys making plays. It wasn't just Precious. And the fact that si Precious lang yung gumawa sa game na to. Actually, si John Abate got a few layups to get himself to double digits in the fourth quarter. But for 3.5 quarters, it was mostly just a Precious Momoway show. And you don't want to see that. I think UE's route to success is definitely when their other guys are contributing. Similar to how LaSalle is. It's not just when KQ is the lone guy contributing. It has to come from everywhere. Sammy.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about that the entire team stepping up in the absence of a guy like Ray Remogat. Okay, before we talk about the Sunday games, the games earlier today, let's take a break and let's talk about our Gatorade Ballers of the Week. You guys know this. Every week in the segment, Gab and I will pick a player, coach, team, or any X factor that helped propel their team to victory, just like how Gatorade fuels you forward. And if you comment your Gatorade Baller of the Week, you use the hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week. Like and follow their Instagram and IG FB page. You might get a chance to win some of the Gatorade merch that we have. So we do have a squeeze bottle and some shirts to give away. Courtesy of Gatorade. Sorry, baliktad pala. Courtesy of Gatorade. So, let's get started. Gab, sino ang Gatorade Baller of the Week mo?
You know, I already shouted him out, and I'd be very talagang nabobola na ako kung hindi ko piliin si Mike Phillips, because as I said, he carried this Asal team to a win against a team that had their number. Diba? UE had their number. They beat them in the first round. The lone loss for LaSalle in the first round. And KQ had a flu game. He was scoreless in the first half. And yet LaSalle was only down one. Just Mike Phillips showing his quality, showing his case na SBP. Baka yung gusto nyo na lang kunin si Mike Phillips or grant just plead for his exception already, because you're gonna need this guy in Gilas. I mean, he's already represented Gilas in the SEA Games, and it's now time. It's now time with him and QMB. You have to get them into Gilas, because if they continue to play like that with that energy, and I do want to address a question that one of our subscribers had. Do you think it was it's a mistake when Mike Phillips is being isolated from the top of the key? With how his skills have turned out, I don't think LaSalle views it as a mistake or as a loss. when Mike Phillips is on the top of a key and he's the one making the plays because he's become so good at that, so good and effective at it already. Mike Phillips, again, it's probably the line of the season. 27-17, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Incredible. And hitting his free throws too. So, shout out to you, Mike Phillips. You're our Gatorade Baller of the Week.
Oh, hey, I love that pick. Mike Phillips, well-deserved pick. Baller of the Week award. Um, hmm. Sige, I was going to pick someone, but you sort of talked about him a lot then earlier, but I'll mention him. So my Gatorade Baller of the Week has to be Mo Konate and the FEU Tamaraws. You sort of talked about it, 26 rebounds. You pointed it out. For me, the most crucial one, that tip to Joric Bautista for that game-tying three and giving the team a win, di ba? Mo Konate was crucial in that game, uh, out getting more than half the rebounds of Adamson and helping FEU get that second win, putting pressure on Ateneo to get a second win. Fortunately for Ateneo, they did get that second win. Since we talked about Mo Konate, na, I do wanna mention another one. I listed down two names. So baka mapag-usapan natin to mamaya. I put Francis Lopez and Christian Manaytay. And I wanted to shout out whoever wins the game. So nanalo UP, so I'm going to shout out Francis Lopez as my Gatorade Baller of the Week. Uh I think he scored like 20 points. He led the team, scored 20 points if I'm not mistaken. Teka, check ko lang quickly. Yeah, he scored 20 points and hit 3 of 4 from the 3-point range. Actually, he only had one miss 8 of 9 siya from the field. Hit 3 of 4 from the 3-point range. Ito yung isa sa mga parang aspects of his game that we thought was sort of
I want to see it
disappeared or
more.
went missing.
I want to see it more.
Yes, exactly.
Come on, Francis.
Hopefully maging consistent to, no? But it's really great to finally see him get a good 3-point shooting percentage. By the way, Gab, in the first round, he was 1 of 14 from the 3-point line. In the first round, 1 of 14. So this is a good start for Francis kasi it opens, like, it forces people to respect him from the 3-point line. They have to guard him there. If they close out on him, he can attack the rim. He's super athletic. He's fast. He can do that. So this is important for his game. And for him to go to the pros and take it to the next level, he needs to develop that 3-point shooting. So this is a good game for Francis Lopez. We'll talk more about that game later, but he is my Gatorade Baller of the Week. Shout out din kay Christian Manaytay, who hit a couple of threes. Maybe we'll talk more about it later. Was actually pretty good for UST, but unfortunately talo sila. So Francis wins it. So guys, don't forget, comment your hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week. Of the weekend pala. Of the weekend lang tayo. And like and follow Gatorade on Instagram and Facebook. You might get a chance to win some Gatorade products and merchandise. By the way, we will be announcing our next round of winners. Siguro we'll announce more kasi we missed last week. We'll announce like 5-6 people for the next episode, and we'll post their comments on our Instagram page. Kasi guys, meron na kaming Instagram page. Check out our Instagram.
Finally, na-announce
Boleros
na rin.
P. At Boleros PH. Actually, we do have a lot of friends following us already, pero hindi pa lang namin na-announce. Kasi si Gab hindi pinapaalala sa akin na i-announce eh. Kasalanan mo yun.
Ako ba may kasalanan? Ako ngayon walang Instagram eh.
Ikaw nga yung nagpapaalala sa akin every, before the episode. Okay, that's it for our Ballers of the Week. Let's move on to our key takeaways from the Sunday games. So let's start with Ateneo versus NU. Your team, the Blue Eagles, finally getting another win number 2 against NU. What's your one key takeaway from that game, Gab?
That the rookies are doing everything for Ateneo because the rookies made every big play. made every big mistake and missed free throw and missed shot in this game, except for the last 4 free throws of Ayan Espinosa. It was mostly just Bahay and Porter just doing everything for Ateneo, and grabe. Just I think Jared Bahay is getting comfortable already with the UAAP. You know, I I I I think you have to give him that he's now make being comfortable. You see him, he doesn't play like a rookie talaga. He reminds me so much of a veteran, and the fact that he made so many big plays, I do wanna highlight that step back he had. I think on who was the one defending him. I think it was Padrones or si Figueroa. He had a step back from the elbow, and then he made a nice pass to a wraparound pass to Porter for that under goal stab. Uh, I know a lot of
May
Ateneans and
alley-oop din
non-Ateneans.
sila, di ba? Nung first quarter ba yan?
Yeah, may alley-oop din sila from in the first quarter. And if you're an Ateneo fan, I know a lot of Ateneo fans and non-Ateneans alike have been hard on Jared because really there's a lot of pressure on this guy. Sam, I think that's pretty obvious. There's been a lot of pressure on Jared Bahay to perform because honestly there haven't been a lot of bright spots for Ateneo, and none on the Blue Eagles except for maybe si Sean Tuanyo has shown the ability to score on his own, diba? To have that ability to go one-on-one and score on his own. Si Jared Bahay is just forced to put up very hard contested shots, and he just can't make a ton of them. Uh, I was very happy that despite turning the ball over once to Steve Nash Enriquez and committing an
That was
offensive
crucial.
foul, that was crucial. Bumawi pa rin siya. You know, he didn't let it get to him. Did not commit a single turnover for the next couple of plays. Grabbing big rebounds. I love how Jared Baez played. And kudos to Ports also, to Chris Porter. Because I thought he looked injured in this game. He was not moving well. He was not jumping pretty high. He was not. He was boxing out, but he wasn't really contesting shots. He wasn't going for those how do I say that? Those big boy rebounds that he usually goes for. But he made the biggest block of the game on Jake Figueroa.
Figueroa, yeah.
So despite being only 6'3", 6'4", making a big boy play like that, there was a play on the other side of the floor where he grabbed a ton of two offensive rebounds and finally put it back
Pounded it in.
pounded it and just forced it in. Buti na lang si Chris Kuhn yung nabuhay ng konti nung fourth quarter because I think he only had 1 point coming into the fourth quarter, then finally making some big free throws at the end game, or else Ateneo would not have stolen this game. They almost gave it away. Si Joloman and Salle, his 2 threes this season have been top of the key bank shots in clutch time. Maybe he should shoot more of those.
May tatlo na ata siya eh. I think it's not just 2 threes. I think it's 3 threes na clutch
two of those three
bank shots.
Bank shots from the top of the key. One was against UST and another one here against Ateneo.
Both losses, by the way.
Both losses. Wag mo na sila i-remind sa amin. But yeah. I love that the young guys, Porter and Bahay are gonna be the future of this Blue Eagles team. Now it's just a matter of rounding out the rest of the roster. Who will be the support guys? They will have to get a more decent big man to complement these two guys, because I don't think you can play Chris Porter as your main center for if you want to win a championship. No, if you want to get back to the mountaintop, if you want to win a championship, you can't have Chris Porter. Despite how well he's playing, he can't be your lone playable big man. So they have to round out the roster. That Porter Bahay connection, the Porter House connection has to
Porterhouse
the
connection.
Porterhouse connection is gonna be that anchor now. I think that's pretty much clear. They're both rookies and they're both making big plays. Your coach tab is allowing them to make uh, their mistakes, unlike si Coach Jeff, who's not allowing his young guys to make mistakes. But at least uh, if if ever we're still gonna struggle next season, we have a Bahay and Porter, that core to lean on.
If
So,
they don't
how's pretty happy.
leave.
Yung
If
if
they
they don't
don't
leave,
leave.
of course, of course. Ikaw naman, Sam, yung wag ka naman, yung wala akong wood dito. Ito, knock on wood. Knock on wood. Wag mo batiin, pre. Yung ka na naman.
2 straight seasons na, bro. 2 straight seasons na may nawalang star sa Ateneo. Okay, great. Good point, good point. Key takeaway for me, it has to be, you talked about the combo, but I do wanna shout out Chris Porter. He has been crucial in the 2 wins of Ateneo. He hit clutch baskets also against Adamson in that first win. In this game, he was one of his best games, actually. He performed in one of his best games. And it was every point, every rebound, every second of it really mattered because they're missing Josh Lazaro in this game. And kung undersized na yung Ateneo to begin with, losing Josh Lazaro is parang nung narinig ko na Josh Lazaro was not gonna play, parang okay, wala na, GG na to.
Kyle Ong also wasn't there. So
Kyle
they only
Ong.
had 2 bigs. Si
Right.
Porter and si Balogun.
And Balogun, yeah. So this was a big game for Porter. For him to respond like that, with Ateneo missing some of their bigs. By the way, shout out to Femi Edu who gave decent minutes to Ateneo since they were a bit undersized. But anyway, Porter has been a revelation. And I do want to give my flowers to him because I'm pretty sure if I'm Porter, I probably didn't expect to play center or big man for Ateneo or in college in general because if you're Porter, you probably wanna play as a forward, diba? Because that's probably going to be your position in the pros. But he was thrust into this position because no one else could play or no one else is as big or as strong as Porter. So he has done really well in his rookie season and hopefully they do get more help sa big man position so that Porter can slide into maybe his more natural position or his desired position, which is the forward one. But another great performance for Porter and another win for Ateneo. So I can't believe na this team is relying on a 6'3", 6'4" rookie center to help them win games. But that's what they're getting
Not
right
not just
now.
to help them win games, to lead.
To lead them. He led the team in scoring today. Tama ka dyan. And in rebounding. So, shout out to Chris Porter. Actually, you deserve to be a Gatorade Baller of the Week. Let's give him that. He deserves it too. For NU, you talked about the bank shot. Ano pa ba? Humamoy and Steve Nash almost helped this team win. Si Figueroa, I called him a bolero for not stepping up, but he performed well in this game. I think led his team. Nobody could stop him on the Ateneo side. Probably could have used Josh Lazaro to guard him. But they lost. So medyo bolero din sila for this season. Anything you want to add for NU before we move on to the last game, Gab?
I don't know. I feel like sobrang lost season na to for NU. And you see it in the way they acted. Or si Steve Nash cried at the end of this game. I think he really feels all of the losses because you can't really put it on them. I mean, you understand why they're pretty hard on themselves with each loss, because I think they came into the season looking for a championship.
May
Diba?
expectations eh. May high expectations.
May expectations sila to win a title. Jake Figueroa said so himself in one of his preseason interviews. He does want to make it to the finals and he does want to win a championship, because honestly, their team is pretty talented. They have a veteran team. They've made the final for the past 2 seasons, and it just sucks that just because they lost Mo Diazana, uh, now it's pretty hard for them to win games. Uh, I do think a change in play style has to be accounted for here, because I don't think they're essentially playing the same way as they did when they had Mo Diazana, and I don't think that was the way to go. If if I'm being honest, Coach Jeff, because you don't have a big man who can, be a lob threat, you be a roll threat, or you don't have a big man to protect the rim, and yet you're still playing a ton of non-shooters out there. Uh, I feel for NU, honestly. I feel for NU because this is definitely not the season they expected. And you feel for Steve Nash. He was really hurting after this game. He was crying. I don't know if this is his last season. I think it's his fourth season overall in the UAAP. I'm not sure how old he is already. I'm not sure if this is his last season in the UAAP, but um, man, you gotta feel for NU. Sammy.
Okay. Let's move on to the last game. UP versus UST. Another close game, but UP pulling away in the end. Gab, your key takeaways from this game.
My one key takeaway from this game is naubusan ng gasolina ang Uste. Because again, uh, essentially the same story as in the first round encounter between UP and UST.
Very similar.
UST had this game for maybe 3 quarters and a half, similar to what they did in the first round. 3 quarters and a half, and they were uh, pretty much leading. I think they were leading in the fourth quarter, and naubusan. They couldn't survive that rally by UP, because you knew that UP was eventually gonna rally. They always like to leave it na in the fourth quarter or in the third quarter. They love bad starts. Let's just put it that way for the UP Fighting Maroons. And I felt like UST did not have enough energy. I thought Siporski was pretty fatigued already in the fourth quarter. And I don't know, the fact na naubusan sila ng energy against two teams talaga, yung Lasal sa UP, I don't think they're not gonna contend for this for this season. Uh, let's see, no? I do like na lumalaban sila, that they have enough firepower and talent to go toe-to-toe for at least 3 quarters against Alasal and against IUP. Diba? At least they have enough talent. But I don't think they have enough depth. Just a few points that I saw in this game. Whenever Mo Tongkara would go out and Coach Widow could not keep Mo Tongkara out for a long period of time, UST would struggle. Another thing that I saw in this game, Fortsky essentially does not have a backup. Whenever Fortsky's out of the game, their offense that does not look the same. And I think this is when we have to say na si Kyle Paranada has lost his spot as the backup point guard for
Bust
UST.
so far, no?
si Ivan Calum now is, as you said, Sam, I didn't even know that Ivan Calum was on this team. He was there last season.
Minessage kita nung sinabi mo si Calum yung backup point guard. I was like, what? He's still there? Nalimutan ko na siya.
Diba? Same reaction. Si Calum na backup point guard. Ang first guard off the bench is Ivan Calum. So, I think Paranados had 3 minutes. That was it. So, medyo tama na siya yung bolero of the first round natin kasi now he's lost his job as the backup point guard to Forsky Padrigao, and that's the problem. USC is just so shallow. They have good wings who can back up their starting wings. You know, they have Cabanero, they have Liemit, Asido, Jeremy Robinson, Ice Danting, who's finally gotten more minutes. I think Coach Pido values his shooting a lot now. And yung point guard and yung center problems talaga ng UST is what did them in this game, because hirap. I mean, isipin mo si Motong Kara, ang kalaban niya ang nagbabantay sa akin si Francis Lopez at si QMB. Kasi binabantayan niya rin sa other end si QMB, si Dikachi Ododo, and then si Francis Lopez. And he's only 6'7". I mean, the guy can only do so much. Hirap na hirap siya yung by the end game eh. And by the time UP made their run, UST was just putting up rush shots. They were trying to go for knockout shot. Well, hindi naman knockout shots, but home run shots. You know, they were trying to go for the big shots, except for trying to run their offense and get decent looks. I think they were settling for contested threes and shots that they were not putting up for the first 3 quarters. So yun, no, sayang for UST. But on UP's part, I'm really happy na they still got it in them to come back and to essentially how do I say this? Lock in on defense when needed. And I'm happy to see that JD Kagulangan is finally back and he's playing like his old self. He's playing like his old self. And it just looks very different when JD's on the floor compared to when other players like si Janjan are there. I love seeing it, and I'm sure a lot of UP fans love seeing it for their team. Terence Portea hit big threes. Jerry Abajano did not play. Maybe I don't know if there's something.
Nakalimutan ko si Abadiano.
Ganun kalalim yung UP, pare, na hindi mo na maalala na yung starting shooting guard nila.
Hindi siya napansin. Oo nga.
Hindi mo mapansin. So, na hindi siya glalaro. Ganun kalalim yung UP. But I'm happy that si Francis finally got his shot to fall because he had been struggling, as you said. I hope we see that more consistently. That's the leap that I want him to take. Because more consistent shooting, more than just drive to the right and essentially pass out or take a foul or take a layup. That's essentially his one move. Drive right. But I do want to see the evolution of Francis' game. And starting with a decent 3-point shot, a decent jump shot can go a long way for Francis. Sammy.
Good bounce back game for Francis Lopez also. After that loss from LaSalle. Napag-usapan mo na yung sa UP side, no? Terence Fertea, JD Kagulangan. Terence Fertea hitting like 4 3-pointers. JD Kagulangan coming back finally. So, good news for UP fans. And then we talked about Francis Lopez hitting 3 or 4 from the 3-point line. I do want to go talk about more. I want to talk more about UST. The maganda yung na-mention mo kanina na may problem sila sa backup point guard. Kyle Paranada was supposedly that main backup guard. He was supposed to be the offense of the bench, 6-man, kind of like a Lou Williams type of player, Jamal Crawford scoring point guard. But that hasn't happened. And UST actually has the lowest scoring bench in the entire UAAP. And because of that, they had to bring Nick Cabanero off the bench. And this is something that I've noticed. As long as you don't have the 3 or the 4 guys, pag medyo kulang, like si Fortsky, si Tongkara, Cabanero, and then put in Manaytay, but he has been inconsistent, doon nawawala talaga yung offense. Which is why I feel like putting Caballero off the bench would be a better solution para mas stagger mo talaga. Especially the guard rotation nga. Si Fortsky and Caballero. You can stagger those two guys. Mas may chance yung UST to stay decent. Pero for me, yung key takeaway ko dito, alam mo, Gab, and the UST might hate me for this. Baka, medyo controversial. But, is UST a bust? Yun yung takeaway ko. Is UST a bust? Kasi, if you think about it, they haven't had a convincing win. The only team that they've beaten that's sort of above them or in the top 4 is UE. They beat UE in the first game of the first round. So probably they caught UE off guard. It wasn't the hot UE team that we saw win 4 or 5 straight games. They other than that, they haven't beaten they haven't had a convincing win against any of these top teams. Obviously, they beat Ateneo, they beat FU, they beat NU. But yun yung parang surprising for me with the amount of talent that they have. Sabi natin, what's important in a winning team and a top team, you have to have a good big man or FSA, Motongkara, MVP level. You have to have a great point guard, Fortsky Padrigao, MVP Mythical 5 type of player. You have to have a good supporting cast, Manaytay, Caballero, you're supposed to have Paranada. But something is missing na it's not hindi siya natatay they can't just seem to put it together and get like good wins. They keep it close pero they run out of gas, sabi mo nga. So for me, I'm still waiting for that convincing win. Of course, they'll probably stay in the top 4 by beating like the Ateneos, the FEUs, the NUs, the bottom 3 teams. Sorry to Ateneo, FEU, NU. But they have to have like this, they have to convince me pa na they can battle with the big guns. They have the talent, but that's the talent on paper is there, but it's not translating to actual wins. Gap.
It depends on where you had them, diba? I think that's a pretty important point. For you and Maui, who had UST at number 4, then yes, I guess
Well,
they
that's
should be
true.
a bust to you.
Bust.
But
Yeah.
but I was skeptical of UST because exactly of what we saw now. They're very top heavy. They don't have much depth, and I think we really saw this with the game a while ago when their bench came in, when Fortsky and Tongkara are not on the floor, they don't really have much to go far. So
Estacio, we were expecting a lot from Estacio. He was good nung preseason. Wala rin.
naman, but again, man, you guys had them as the 4th team. I still have in our last episode, Sam, I still had Adamson there as a Final Four contender.
And they lost to Adamson. Yeah.
So they're a bust if you had them like competing for a championship or being a title contender, or as you say, being a convincing Final Four contender. I was not convinced because I still don't see the rest of the roster being proven. I know si Fortsky's good. I know si Nick Cabanero's good. As you said, how do they all tie it up together? For me, the top end guys play really well when they're on the court. Although sometimes I do feel like it's a your turn, my turn with Nick and Fortsky. But there are times when no, Sam, but not all the time. There are times when they play off of each other and they play really well. Because of that, I do want to point out their win against NU. One of the threes that Nick Cabanero hit was off a pass from Fortsky Padrigao, just misdirecting the defense. So there are times when they play off of each other, but there are times also when it becomes your turn, my turn. But for the most part, I love how the top end of their roster has played together. When Tongkara, Manaytay, Cabanero, It's either o si Liemet or si Danting are there or si Asido and then si Forsky are on the floor. They look pretty decent. It's when their bench comes in or when si Forsky is out or when si Tokara is out. It's when it kind of craters for them. And the fact that you have to play your top end guys a ton of minutes
Mhm.
showed in that game. Naubusan sila.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't have enough energy to finish off an opponent of the quality of a UP. And I think they're gonna encounter the same thing when they face LaSalle. LaSalle who has a deep team, they have a deep rotation. Uh, can UST rely on their bench guys to give them some production? Because as shown in this game, wala eh. Wala masyadong production yung from their bench eh. So, I don't know. Maybe for next season, maybe get more reps for your bench guys. Actually have a backup point guard that's pretty decent that doesn't crater your offense when Fortsky sits on the bench. Diba? So a lot of work you needs to be done for UST. But I do like that they're able to hang with the top tier teams of the UAAP. So I like that. Sammy.
Oy. Gab, still loyal to Adamson. We'll see. We'll see kung sino yung will battle it out for that final for number 4 and number 3 slot. That's it for today's episode. Share with us your key takeaways from the opening of the second round. And don't forget to share your hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week for a chance to win some Gatorade merch. We'll announce some of our winners in the next coming episode. We'll see you again next time. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't forget, may Instagram na kami at BolerosPH. See you again next time. Bye-bye.